Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's something that's always bothered me about the news. Every time they talk about someone who gets mauled by a bear, they never say that it's a grisly attack or that it was a very grisly mauling or anything like that. And it's sitting right there every time. And nobody ever does it. Drives me crazy.
Yes, I'm back. I am back. Not what did you say last week? Like
A
you
lot.
couldn't just you literally you did.
Keep going.
I was gonna say you could have literally just said, "Hey, he's at his kid's triathlon." No, you had to make a snappy comment about something.
Well,
else.
I read it wrong. It was an honest mistake.
it
I
was an
thought you had
honest
said
mistake.
you needed to try panties on.
That's what it is. Mashup 213. How's everybody doing? I'm happy to be back. I don't know about everybody else. I sat and listened to twos on my drive back from interviewing the premier, and I needed that. You had me laughing a few different times.
That's
while
good.
I drove, but it was good. It was missing a little something though, just a little something.
Yes. When you say a little something, I assume you mean one of your arms.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Twos. You want to have a wrestle? We can wrestle. I'd take you out to wrestle. Oh, wouldn't that be a pay-per-view event? Kevin, you listening? Twos wants it in a year's time. Let's schedule this out. Bring it on. There he goes. Twos
We
wants it.
do Indian leg wrestling, we do arm wrestling, and we do full-on leg wrestling. That'll be our own try panties on.
How's everybody doing today? Happy Friday. Mashup 213. Okay, we got lots to get to today.
Yep.
And I'm glad you got through it without Sean interrupting you with ad read for Cheerios. Oh yes, he's so it's Friday. I released another podcast 2 Fridays in a row. Don't normally do that. And on those Friday episodes, I've got the ad reads just slammed into the conversation just to see what people would think. And the feedback has been fun too.
Yes. It's I like the fact that you literally just put them in the most conspicuous places. Like the last places, nobody else does it. And so you'll ask a question. And then before whoever you're interviewing gets to answer it, it goes immediately to an ad read. And it's very jarring and unconventional. And that's totally right up my alley.
Yeah, well, I just love how people are upset or they're for it. It's like, it's beautiful. People are texting and everything else. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go listen to today's episode on the podcast and you'll hear all about it. It's
Today's
Tommy
other
Kerrigan.
episode.
That's right. Now, okay, back to this. Mashup 213. Happy Airborne Friday to all the military men out there.
Happy Airborne Friday, gents and ladies.
And if you haven't shared it out, make sure to like, share, all the things. You're on X, hit the retweet button. I'm going to do that right now while Twos fills you in on something else.
Well, I suppose we could talk about the Coot 6.5. This week is, this isn't the same one that we've covered before.
Oof.
But it's the same thing. BC man who murdered wife and son gets below normal sentence due to Indigenous heritage.
Yeah, he's still going away for life. Did I read this wrong? Like he's still going away for life with parole in 10 years.
But a life sentence in Canada is 25 years.
Okay.
And basically, as long as he doesn't bleach his skin too terribly much in the next decade,
He'll be out in 10 years.
parole.
Yeah, this is a pretty gruesome story. To me, he got life with parole after 10 years. The judge goes on, that essentially, because of his background, that's where this all gets taught into. This is a terrible story. It is just
Yep.
not good. He
So,
murders his wife, then murders his son. You know, doesn't go down willingly. It's an awful story.
So here's the thing is, if we care about First Nations and we need to make amendments for everything that happened and it needs to be reflected in prison sentences, this is a man who murdered 2 Indigenous people. He should go away for longer. You shouldn't say, oh, you murdered 2 Indigenous people. We'll give you a lighter version of the sentence. It's kind of the exact opposite of the stated purpose, which is pretty standard for government stuff.
How about rapid fire news too?
Yeah.
We'll start here. I don't even want to read this story. This makes my skin crawl. Teacher guilty of sexually abusing and murdering adopted baby.
Now, this is the BBC version of it that omits a lot of details. That's how bad it is that this makes you sick. When you hear the rest of it, it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, so a teacher has been found guilty of sexually abusing and murdering the 13-month-old baby boy he adopted with his partner. Preston Davey died July 2023 at the hands of Jamie Varley, 37, who took a year off work to adopt him. Varley from Blackpool told police Preston had accidentally drowned in a bathtub, but after post-mortem examination discovered the child had suffered 40 injuries. His partner, John McGowan Feather Curley, 32, has been found guilty of sexual assault, child cruelty, and allowing the death of a child. The pair will be sentenced on Thursday. This is in the UK, obviously.
I can't remember what the other guy's sentence was, but the UK, to their limited credit here, has some kind of a special provision where if something is exceptionally bad, it's like a whole life sentence. It's just you will never leave this jail unless maybe it's to go to another jail.
Yeah, they just need to take him to the train station. Full stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
carry on with life. This is I don't need to hear anymore. I don't know if you're going to say anymore because it really irritates me on a Friday to have to sit and read stupidity at the most cruel, evil level towards children. I don't know how much more you need to go into this, Twos.
Okay, well, the baby died asphyxiating on one of their penises.
We don't need to go any further on this, Twos. This is, this is a different type of evil. The world, well, not a different type. This is just evil. It's just dark, dark, dark stuff. And they should not lock the bars and throw away the key. They should take them to the train station and do the world a favor. Zookeeper who saved boy 3 as he was attacked by crocodile after being thrown into a pit by mentally disabled man as suspect not fit for interview is bailed. That is literally the headline. Yes.
So what happened was a random mentally disabled man was at the zoo, picked up a kid, threw him into the alligator cage, and the zookeeper, to her extreme credit, rescued this kid from the alligator cage. He was 3 years old, by the way. The kid had like a broken arm and a broken pelvis or something like that from landing. But the man with no description and no name in the UK was released on bail because he was not fit for interview. He was too stupid to talk to by the police, so they let him go. No name, no description. Now, anytime that happens in Canada, you know exactly where it's going.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Okay.
Canada has sent $3.8 million to the Lebanese Mountain Warfare Ski School to ensure their mechanics have multi-gendered bathrooms. I expect nothing less than Canada sending this off. Our leadership, we are making sure bathrooms have multi-gender, one country, one school at a time, Twos.
It's really funny whenever people are talking about the math behind separation. They keep saying Alberta needs to get its per capita share of the federal debt. Keep in mind that right now, Canada is the largest debt it's ever had outside of the lockdown years. And on top of that, we just basically took out a loan for $4 million so that a Lebanese Armed Forces Mountain Warfare Ski School maintenance building could have better shitters. $4
Yeah,
million shitters, folks. Christ on a cracker.
that's what you call siphoning off some taxpayers' money. Somebody's
Yep.
getting money out of that.
And when Alberta separates, they're going to say, okay, well, you guys need to pay your 12.9% share of this Lebanese Armed Forces Mountain Warfare Ski School maintenance building gender multiple shitters loan that we took out in your name.
Mona Niemer questioned over 400,000 in taxpayer-funded travel since 2017. Canada's top science advisor says her travel spending, including business class flights, is according to Government of Canada directives.
Oh, well, that's perfect. As long as it's according to Government of Canada directives. So she's being questioned on this, and she defends herself by saying it's standard that people in my position and similar positions across the country do this. And in fact, there are people around the world in similar positions who do this exact same thing with this amount of travel. And so therefore it's justified. This is literally the everyone else jumped off a bridge defense. It is, okay? Like Muhammad on a muffin, this is just insane. Well, I should be able to do it. And not just to fly. Like there was a $10,000 flight in there because she flew to fucking France first class.
Yep.
Let's just go all the way overboard with this. You know what? If every single government employee thinks that they're entitled to this sort of treatment, this woman, by the way, makes $400,000 a year.
$393,000 to be
I'm
exact.
sorry. Let's issue a correction.
Yes.
This woman makes $393,000 a year. I'm terribly sorry. I did not mean to mislead all of the Mashupians out there. And we don't
Get it
want to be
right, Tews.
accused
Be better.
of spreading
Be better,
disinformation.
That's right.
But let's be honest. If you offered that exact same job to pretty much any random Joe Schmo in Canada and said, you can take this job, but you have to pay for your own travel, they'd be like,
They'd
okay.
take it.
Yep,
Yes.
yeah, that's fine. Just you need to be in, I don't know, you need to be in Lebanon to do the ribbon cutting at the mountain shitter. Okay, I'll get there. Yeah, for $393,000. Oh no, I'm only making $391,000 after my round trip.
The official rape gang report is here. Nothing can prepare you for it. This is the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, right there. 250,000 young white girls. 87% of rape gang convictions. Distinctively Muslim names. I mean,
so this is basically it. The big takeaway here is that we need to believe all women. #me too. We got to believe in this sort of thing. And when a woman speaks up and says something, you have to believe her. Unless she's one of 250,000 women in England. Yahweh on a souffle, Sean. This is a little bit fucking much.
they found the unspeakable crimes occurred in at least 149 local authority districts, close to 40% of all such districts across the United Kingdom. So, like, this is everywhere. There's a map, Twos. I think they show
this is
right there.
Is the map. And the darker the red, the more, or actually, sorry, it's not the more rapey. It's suspected versus confirmed. Keir Starmer personally, who was like a DA or whatever the equivalent in England is of a DA, was personally responsible for dropping charges on 13,000 of these.
Yeah.
13,000 rapists can literally attribute their freedom to Keir Starmer himself personally. They talked about instances of cover-ups, about how when people tried to blow the whistle about this, they faced personal and professional punishments.
Yeah, it's a pretty damning report. And actually,
yes.
if you go, I think if you go to the bottom of it, don't they have all the recommendations? And I mean, it's basically like the recommendations are self-explanatory, but um, enhancing victim rights, harsher sentences starting at 25 years. Every foreign national convicted of group-based CSE must at very least be deported. At the very least, no kidding, right? Like, and on and on and
No,
on and on it
you
goes.
deport them. You deport them off the north end of the island, and you give them a dinghy. That's it.
You take them to the train station.
Basically, I mean, you know what? I will say this. So the it's been overwhelmingly Pakistani Muslims who've been engaging in this. And the one nice thing about that particular group is that as bad as being gang raped by a bunch of dudes is, it's probably marginally better given how small their penises are.
Teacher accused of child sexual abuse materials charges arrested at Edmonton Airport. There it is. The court
Jimmy
process.
Buena.
Yeah.
And
Jimmy
you're-
Buena, 48, was charged with accessing, possessing, and transmitting child sexual abuse materials last June. And the Alberta Law Enforcement Response Team had investigated Buena, believed the former Oscar Romero Catholic high school teacher had left Canada, and a year later he's back and his court case is underway.
Yeah, he left Canada to go to the Philippines and then somehow managed to end up back here. I say we just cut off his Filipinas. Interesting thing, though, I just noticed this in the picture. He was being interviewed by CTV 4 years ago in his school that he was teaching in. Now, I can't remember which, it rang a bell that I think we've had one or two other instances of that where just this random person, the stock photo that they have for it is from when they interviewed that person.
So what do you make of that, Tiz?
Well, it's funny that these people end up somehow finding their way into the news. I don't really know what to make of it, but it just stands out that there's been a few of them. And so
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. Canada opens first oil sands site, greenlit since 2013. International or IPC, International Petroleum Corp, produced oil from the initial phase of its US $859 million Black Rod site, which was Canada's first new Alberta oil sands project, greenlit in more than a decade when it moved ahead in 2023.
Yes. So it has been greenlit as of now. As investment is fleeing because everybody's worried about separation. Investment's fleeing, folks. No one's going to want to invest in Alberta because the idea of a possible separation is just scaring away everybody. Scaring away everybody.
You have this. It's Nico Lagan. He says, in December 2025, Australia became the first country in the West to enforce an under-16 social media ban. Since then, Canada, UK, France, Denmark, Greece, Norway, Austria, Poland, Germany, Belgium, Slovenia, Spain, and Italy have either tabled proposals or are actively debating these same restrictions. Goes on to say, do you think all these governments suddenly care about protecting our children, and it's all a big coincidence that they're all doing it at the same time, or maybe this is a coordinated effort?
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and probably piss off nearly every single person who watches this show.
Okay.
I do think it's a coincidence. I do not think it's a coordinated effort. You look at, perfect example is medieval castles and walls. You've got all of these countries across Europe that at roughly the same time started building roughly the same medieval walls and castles all across. You find some really good high ground, you build a nice big keep, and then you put a big wall around it, and then, some of them develop turrets. Oh, that's handy because you can have more people there at the corners. So then they put them in. And then once cannons got invented and they were capable of just ripping those things to shreds, the designs of the castles changed so that they had more angular walls and heightened berms at the base, because people scaling the walls wasn't nearly as much a concern anymore as it was deflecting the cannonballs that would just turn them into rubble. And they all did it all along the same lines, all across Europe at roughly the same time. Okay. And if you're a shitty government that's doing a bunch of shitty things, the best defense you have against public scrutiny is for people to just not fucking know about it. And so, oh, hey, you know what? These Australians, they're going to ban social media. That's that inconvenient thing that tells everybody all the shitty things that we're trying to do in the back door. Well, maybe we should do that too. Maybe we should do that too. I guarantee you it's the same conversation that happened all across Europe as castles and keeps and walled compounds evolved.
Interesting take. I don't know.
You're disagreeing. That's okay.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about banning social media for everybody across the sun. It's young and under. At the same time, they're trying to add in more and more things that you have to upload your identification to access certain things.
And then and it's stopping you from saying inconvenient things, and it's stopping you from seeing inconvenient things, and it's discouraging you from posting inconvenient things.
Yeah. So where does this trend take us in the next?
That's phase one.
Yeah. Where does this take us in the next 10 years? And I go, you can't tell me that's all coincidence. Sorry. Nope.
I'm just saying it's just the natural evolution, and it's
the natural evolution
adoption.
is they want us all to be locked into the all the digital world and be able to control everything on everybody so that we don't have conversations like this. And
that's exactly it.
The government.
That's exactly it. But I'm not saying
so. If they said 30-year-old,
I'm not saying it's happening.
40-year-old, you gotta nope, we're gonna ban you. Everybody lose their mind. When it comes to kids, everybody's going to protect their kids. I tell you what, how about parents just be better parents? Suck it up. Don't give your kid a phone at 10 and just figure this out. Nope, government's got to step in. We need the government. Government's going to protect the children. We see where this is going to go.
I know exactly where this is going, but I'm not saying it's a shadowy cabal meeting in a volcano lair saying, how can we get every country in the world to do this?
Because they're not that cool. They're a bunch of idiots.
Okay,
but this is totally a cabal working together to usher in a new thing.
Occam's razor. The simplest answer is correct. Okay? And this is the thing, is it's just a global adoption of the same sort of protectionism that you saw with the castle evolution. That's exactly it. They look at it and they say, oh, hey, you know what? That's a neat little turret they have there. It's banning VPNs. And go back
to COVID. Jason Kenney. We're open for business. And then 2 weeks later, we're not. And then a week after that, we're gonna have vax passes and everything. I listened to a Danielle Smith interview on the way up to interview Danielle Smith that I did with her. And even back then, she's like, I wonder if they pressured him. And you go, now, is that just everyday people twos? Or were they concerned that a province was going to buck? We're shutting everybody in for a long period of time. And you're just like, well, everyday people in the government just had different thoughts and decided to lock everybody up in vaccine passport and everything else. Meanwhile, in such a short period of time, he had been saying something completely different. Or do we think there's maybe a little bit of a shadowy presence behind the government going, listen, fast forward to independence. You're telling me Danielle Smith doesn't realize how broken our federal government is? And all of a sudden,
she didn't just suddenly stop knowing how broken our federal government is.
There would be pressures behind the system. That's the whole thing.
She's part of the system that is part of Canada where everything is corrupt and broken. And when everything is corrupt and broken, your best defense against everybody knowing what the fuck is going on is to try and hide it from them, hence the social media bans. And when you're in the UK and you've got all these grooming gangs running around fucking everything up and everything is going to shit, your best defense is that. And when you're in Australia and it's similar things, your best defense is that. And they all have aligned incentives that...
Oh, yeah, aligned incentive, sure. But
Okay, well,
I think there is.
it just so happens that when you set up governments in such a way that the people in charge get to make all the fucking money and have all the fucking power, they're going to turn to shit, just like most of the countries across the world have. And in that situation, this is their best individual defense. It's a logical thing that doesn't require a shadowy cabal, maybe not meeting in a volcano, but perhaps a mountain in Switzerland.
There's still a shadowy cabal. There just is. That doesn't mean the politicians are
This
a part
whole
of that.
thing can happen without a shadowy cabal.
There's a shadowy cabal.
Maybe,
All right.
but the whole thing can happen without it. All right, here, before we move on, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Vape Vault was broke into the other day,
Mm.
and it fucking sucked. Smash and grab, they were in and out in basically a minute, but we have some footage. And I don't imagine that any of you are going to be able to find the person or know the person who did it, the two people.
But we get to show the footage.
But we're going to show you the footage. So here is from the one camera. Okay. Now, if we go here, I'm just going to fast forward to about, oh, there comes the rock through the window. And then they're smashing out the glass. And then comes through, does a gay little step. So obviously it was a homosexual that did this, or at least one of them was. And then they just start grabbing shit off the racks, making a giant mess. Not even doing a good job of it. And I mean, still within all that, they got away with something like a little over $7,500 worth of stuff. In just, this is them near the very end of it. They go back, they grab a little bit, and then the guy who's been doing the shoveling grabs an armload of cases of vapes on his way out. He's going to do that here in just a second. And then they're gone. And these idiots, they left a trail all the way down the street of vapes that they were dropping while they were running. You can see where they turned the corner, and then they went up an alley into presumably what was their getaway vehicle. Now, these men obviously have very small penises. And here is another angle. Boom. There's the glass breaking. And then there he is swinging a hammer again. Obviously a homosexual from the way he's swinging the hammer. Comes through. There's the gay hitch in his step. These men obviously have very small penises. And then there they are. And if we pause it. So if you happen to know a olive-skinned individual who is gay and has a small penis, I would love to hear about it, because that's exactly what we're looking for in this incident. Squirrel Nut says, I guess it's a vape store. Yes, it's literally called Vape Vault. So
In Crossfield, if people are interested. Okay. Well, shall we carry on then? Do you want to show that this is okay?
All right. Now, for those of you listening rather than watching,
Yes.
this is a woman bungee jumping in Brazil.
21 years old, getting thrown off a bridge. Here's the problem. They're not connected to anything.
They forgot to hook up the bungee cord. So what happens is she goes over, and that's it.
Can you imagine on your, it's like, how did Aunt Maria die? Well, she was on a holiday and went to go bungee jumping, and they threw her off a bridge, and that's how it ended.
That was it.
That was it.
And I saw a bunch of pictures of her on social media. She was actually pretty hot, so it's extra tragic. But I would say
Carry on. Am I not allowed to laugh at that?
Okay, no, that's fine.
It's gotta. Yeah, she was pretty hot. It's extra tragic. Carry on.
Well, I mean, it's bad enough when it happens to somebody who's frumpy, but anyway,
I don't know why
no, I'm going to be a little bit of a hypocrite here. I'm going to say that if you're going to go to a third world country, you shouldn't do things like this. But at the same time, I did go skydiving in Mexico once back in the day, and there wasn't even seats in the plane. We all just sat on like, the mats that you'd have like in gym class, that you'd pull out to do crunches on and stuff like that. It was just a couple of those. And I went skydiving. But here's the thing is we jumped out over top of the ocean. So if things went wrong, well, I probably still would have died anyway, but at least I'd have the optimism of maybe I could have stuck the landing and then just dealt with the sharks, right? But so if you're going to go bungee jumping, do it over a lake or a river or something like that. Don't do it over top of an alligator pit.
The mashup effect.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good.
Stop calling them Asian grooming gangs. They're not Japanese. Call them what they are. Predominantly Pakistani Muslim rape gangs.
Yes. So you may recall for the past couple weeks, we've been talking about how grooming gangs is just way understating what these actually are, and we need to have a more accurate version of what to call them. And then, lo and behold, Rupert Lowe, who's for the Restore Britain Party, I want to say, I think that's what it's called, or Reclaim Britain, something like that, is saying we need to stop calling them grooming gangs. So, Rupert Lowe, thanks for tuning in. You're very obviously, I mean, there's no, yeah, obviously he's...
You're definitely a mashup fan.
Yep, you're a Mashupian.
Do you want to show the video of Daniel Smith?
I would vote for Danielle Twos.
Daniel Smith talking about First Nations.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, a lobbying firm for the First Nations had a vote, and they are asking the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to investigate Danielle Smith for treason. And this was her response, which it appears to be in Heritage Park, if I'm recognizing that.
Yeah, actually,
that place, right?
I tried getting people who've been to a Cornerstone. I toured this place, seeing if we could put the Cornerstone Forum in there.
Yeah, it's that particular. It's right next to Switzer's Pharmacy when you're walking around the old town area.
Oh, we got no sound too. Just give me a sec. Try again.
Okay. Now, just keep in mind, it's not Chiefs, it's a lobbying firm. But
Premier, treaty chiefs are calling for an investigation into whether your actions over the independence referendum amount to treason under the criminal code. What's your response to that?
Well, I think it's disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful that any government that wants to be taken seriously would level charges that serious against another government. Look, I've had my differences with the federal government, but I have never used language like that. I would ask the treaty chiefs to check themselves, because we have a very collaborative relationship between our government and our ministers. I want that to continue. But this kind of overwrought language has no place in a democracy. When they were pursuing a new relationship with Ottawa, I cheered them along. We are pursuing a new relationship with Ottawa that respects our jurisdiction, and I would ask that they be respectful of that. But they need to, that language has no place in this democratic discussion.
Well put, actually. Well
it
done,
was well
Danielle.
put. Yep.
That interview you had with her, by the way, that question you asked when she was talking about the panel they're putting together to discuss the cost of separation. And then you said, okay, well, is anybody going to look at the cost of staying in Canada? That was probably the best question you've asked in any episode of any of your podcasts.
We should probably just stay in this moment for a second, folks. Was that a compliment from Twos?
Okay.
Did Twos just give me a compliment? That was the best question
tweet
you've
from
ever
Ken
asked.
Bossencool. Fixing Canada. So Keith Wilson saying the Federalists are promising fantasy. They say if Canada's fixed, it can be fixed if Alberta just waits, votes correctly, argues politely, or leads harder. And he goes on to just say that Canada's broken and we need to leave. Ken says fixing Canada by leaving Canada is the daffiest argument. I think he meant to say daftest argument I've seen from these guys. We've been leading, not leaving for decades. We've done it before. Let's do it again. When have we ever done anything to fix Canada aside from writing a bunch of fucking checks? But also, more importantly, the proposal isn't that we are going to fix Canada by leaving. The proposal is Canada is fucked and we need to go our separate ways. And Steven says 100% agree with twos. I'm guessing that's about this and not about whatever it was we were talking about before.
Here's an interesting one, because Daniel Smith talked about how separation numbers are going down. Well, a new poll, Alberta independent support hits 40.9%, with 11.2% undecided. Now, twos, you can walk through the audience on polls. This is one of the things that you stare at a lot.
Yes. So there weren't any details about this. It didn't talk about what question was asked, how they found the sample size, how big the sample size was, any margin of error, or any metrics. So not something that you're going to put a lot of faith in. However, when you have well-known pollsters releasing the same kind of limited data, and it's something that you can't put a lot of faith in, the point is that this should be treated roughly, maybe slightly less, but in the same kind of vein as a very poorly done survey from a federal renowned pollster. But this is 40.9%, and Laguerre had one a few weeks ago that was 19.7, I want to say, but 19%. And then the news was all over the place about how the separatist sentiment is dying and going away. And then a few days later, you had the Angus Reid poll saying 35%.
Yeah,
and that 35% did not get nearly the same amount of coverage, or even any, compared to the 19% one.
I think we should be able to agree that as we get closer to this, the numbers should rise slightly, because more people are like, holy crap, this is real. Now, on the flip side, what's about to happen at the end of August is there's going to be a report being released that says the cost to leave is going to be absolutely astronomical.
It's going to be $11 billion.
Correct. It's going to be this fanatical report that just says, you know what, you guys shouldn't leave because it's going to cost you way too much. That,
well, look at the names
I
of
could
the
see the
people
numbers
on that.
drop off of that. I could see numbers drop because of that. That's why I asked the question. And Steve chimed in saying that he's 100% agrees with twos on the cost to stay in Canada question. That's what he was talking about.
Okay. Yes. So he agrees with me. That's great.
So like when you look at it, that's why I asked, because you go, okay, let's fast forward in the future. They release reports saying it's just going to be so much money to leave. It's going to be awful. We're going to have to do everything. It's never been done before, folks. I actually agree with Jeff Rath on this. All that is fear. Our government is paying for a report to make everybody fearful of it.
Yep.
So if we're going to be balanced, if Daniel's going to be the balanced premier who tries to stay in the middle, okay, make a report, spend 1.5 on the other side, and just have people go, look, what's the cost to stay? It's not that hard of an idea to get people around. We're going to have two reports. We're going to challenge people to think and look at this rationally. That's not going to happen, because this is not about whether we should leave. It's about how do we inflict the most damage and get people wound up so we can eventually just stay.
Well, okay. So a simple way to put this is that study that's being commissioned is what you would call a cost-benefit analysis. But the thing about it is that you have to look not just at the cost, but also the benefit. You're literally only looking at one side of the equation.
Sure.
Right? So you can't decide, like, okay, I'm thinking of a random number that is going to be either higher or lower than 7.
Okay.
That tells you absolutely nothing about the number. Is it better than 7 or is it worse than 7?
I don't know.
Nobody does. I don't even know. I lied about thinking of a number. But that's the thing, is they're saying that one side of like the cost to do it this one way is going to be 7. What do you think?
I love lamp.
I love lamp. That's like it's just such a
Yes.
such an obvious shortcoming in the methodology, and I hadn't even thought about it till you asked that question, and then just dang light bulb.
Hey, well, maybe if I'm a light bulb for twos, I was a light bulb for a whole bunch of people. Because to me, when I look at it, I go, I don't mind what Daniel Smith's doing. I haven't, you
Mhm.
know what? I have my qualms on a whole bunch of stuff. But as you enter into this, there's things that happen that just constantly are shifting the chessboard, if you would.
Mhm.
But when she comes out and she tries to be, I'm gonna be in the middle. I believe you got to hear both sides.
Mhm.
Okay, you're gonna hear both sides. Then give us the report on the cost to stay. Because to me, now you can have both reports, look at them and go, well, it says the cost to stay is actually going to cost Albertans over the next 50 years this much.
Yep.
Geez, that's a pretty high number.
Yep.
I mean, now it kind of balances out when they say, well, it's going to cost 400 billion to leave. Well, it's going to cost us, 800 billion to do all these different things. And this is what we're going to get back, and on and on and on it goes.
Mhm.
It's like you could see where that balances it out. The fear tactics have to stop.
Yeah, Vishnu on a Vindaloo. Enough is enough.
Third-party advertising.
Yeah. So what had happened here is that Thomas Lucasfilm's Forever Canada campaign with the super gay looking tour bus and all the signs and all the fundraising and stuff, they're not registered as a third-party advertiser for this referendum, despite the fact that they're soliciting donations and spending money, even just the gas money. The gas money's got to be accounted for, right? All of this stuff is not. And so Thomas Losing Sucks just keeps going around doing all of this dumb shit. And it appears to be in violation of elections law in Alberta. And so people have been sending emails. They've been reaching out to Elections Alberta saying, hey, Thomas LASIK eye surgery is doing this and it looks to be illegal. His name, if he was doing this legitimately, you would be able to go to the Elections Alberta website and look up Thomas Losercuck and his name would be there, but his name is not there. Okay. So Thomas Lines of Coke is nowhere on the website. What is up with that? So can somebody just please open up an investigation into Thomas leaves the seat up? And that's where we're at right now. Multiple people have been detailing exactly when they've reached out to Elections Alberta, what they've asked. One of them got back a boilerplate email reply saying that they're going to be looking into it. But I find it just incredibly interesting that out of all of this stuff and all of these allegations of skullduggery and tomfoolery and all of this other stuff, that the foreign interference, these guys can't be trusted. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this thing that they're doing is evil. All the complaints about the Centurion Project and all this stuff. And meanwhile, Thomas Lesbian keeps fucking up all of this stuff and not doing the actual paperwork needed to do it legitimately.
I'm curious. Out of all that, what's your favorite name Two's just said? What was the best? I don't know. We'll see. Drivers. Show me some videos of some drivers Two's. One of my favorite parts of this show now is the fact that I don't go into the drivers. I'm like, I have no idea what's coming, folks. I'm like you. It's like, what has Two's got it for in store for us this week?
Well, we have a commercial driver charged in Highway 17 crash with school bus. So if we bring this up, this is around Sault Ste. Marie, some place called Spanish. They're not talking about the language. There's a place in Ontario called
Called
Spanish.
Spanish.
And
Okay.
the funny thing is, I bet you if you looked at a map, you could find people who speak Spanish in Mexico who are closer to us right now than Spanish Ontario is. Just as a random thing. Yes, I know I have a light out, Sheldon, okay? I need to go. I don't really have a whole lot of Home Depot time lately. It's been out if you go back like a month. If you go back a month, that light's been out for
Should
several
probably
weeks.
get that fixed, too.
It's not a case of getting it fixed. I don't need a repair. I just need to change out the light bulb.
You just need to
But
replace
there are
them.
these weird fucking things. And so you can't just go in and just grab a light bulb. They've got these weird prongs on them. And so I got to grab the light bulb and go to Home Depot and get the replacement bulb. And I never think to do it. And then anytime I'm driving anywhere near it, say, oh, I wish I had that light bulb with me right now. I need my own light bulb moment. So anyway, yeah, commercial driver crashed with a school bus in Spanish. RCMP charged 2 men with human trafficking at Sask trucking business. Now, the 2 men are, by the way, I love the fact that there's so many places in Saskatchewan named Butt. You got Central Butt, you got Frenchman's Butt, you got White Butt. So White Butt RCMP say they received a report in November 2025 about a potential human trafficking situation. They began investigation and they charged Jagdar Sedora from Regina and Himanshu Kundra from Spruce Creek for basically what they do is they bring a bunch of presumably East Indian people over here and they make them work exceptionally long hours. They don't pay them. They say that they owe them a whole bunch of money that they have to work off before they can do this, and it falls underneath human trafficking.
Do you think
And-
we should start saying instead of they're from wherever they list them as is just India?
And we just describe everybody who isn't from Saskatchewan and Alberta as being from India?
From a foreign country? From a foreign
No,
country.
no, but let's
From
just
India.
pick India.
Sure.
Let's just pick India.
Because I'm like, some of them are dude from Frenchman
Regina?
Butt. You're like, what? No, everybody in Frenchman Butt knows they aren't from there.
Now, the other thing is that the Saskatchewan Trucking Association responded, and these allegations reflect broader challenges we've seen across Canada where bad actors exploit immigration pathways and take advantage of workers. And they're really concerned about the negative perception that this is going to have on the trucking industry. 2 things. 1, I don't think you could have a more negative perception of the trucking industry in Canada if you fucking tried. And 2, I feel like the major consideration here, when it's like, oh, yes, absolutely. They're literally trafficking in slaves. But how is it going to make the rest of us look?
Jess and GP said Loser Cuck is her favorite.
Okay. We also have LASIK eye surgery coming up in the comments. And Mel says she loves my sense of humor. Or he. I'm not sure. Mel could go either way. Look at Gibson. Here's another one. 1 dead after car drives wrong way on northbound lanes of Coquihalla Highway. 5 children killed in Mapleton Township crash. An SUV with 1 person in it crashed into a van that had 10 people in it, killed 5 of them, all of which were children.
Where is that, Tooth? Somewhere in Ontario?
Mapleton Township, somewhere in Ontario.
Yeah.
It's a big place. It's north of Kitchener.
Okay.
Which is a really long way to say woman.
And did they release the name on that one?
No name released. Pickup truck driver who crashed into 3 pedestrians is facing charges. They struck 3 pedestrians, including a 2-year-old boy in Toronto's North End. Driver has been charged with careless driving causing bodily harm or death, and no names were released. And anytime no names are released, it's because they're from India.
We have a strong suspicion. Yes. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no. They can prove me wrong.
Goofy news, if that wasn't goofy enough. Arrest, firearms investigation, 300 block Avs West South. One man was arrested following a firearms investigation by the Guns and Gangs unit at 1:45 a.m. on June 12, 2026. Members of the Guns and Gangs unit with the assistance of the Tactical Support Unit conducted enforcement action and firearms investigation at a residence. As a result, one male suspect was arrested, and the following evidentiary seizures were made: a sawed-off, 223 caliber Ruger ammunition, and as a result, a 37-year-old Saskatchewan man has been charged with 4 firearms-related charges.
No names released. Take a look at this. Take a look at this blunderbuss. It appears that the Saskatoon Police Service have apprehended one of the last Saskatchewan pirates. So, yes, I'm sure everybody feels safer now that they know that anytime they want to get to the co-op, they don't have to go by him, where he's stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. Also, it's a left-handed bolt action, which is kind of weird. And I'm not sure if the police are aware of this or not, but 223 and 22 LR are not compatible with each other. So they arrested him for having this and presumably one cartridge, and then also a 22. Yeah. So great job, guys. You found Blackbeard.
Handshake to remember.
But why the rum?
Handshake to remember. Young Irish boy meets Prime Minister Mark Carney.
That's literally the article. The article talks about how some little Irish prick got to meet Mark Carney and shake his hand. And that's it. That's it. They wrote an entire fucking article about him shaking the hand of an Irish child.
CTV News. Should the rainbow replace the maple leaf during Pride months at school? Earlier this month, Trillium Woods Elementary School took down its Canadian flag and raised the Pride flag instead, a move that's receiving mixed reviews from parents.
Well, Trillium, by the way, is exactly how much money the panel is going to decide it's going to cost.
It's going
Alberta
to take a trillion dollars to get out of Canada.
$1 trillion.
$1 trillion. How much is that? A lot. You don't want to go.
So no, by the way, just to be clear, we should not replace the gay pride or the Canada flag with the gay pride flag.
Do we think this is a good idea?
At this point, the two of them are interchangeable. You guys can do whatever the hell you want with your fucking maple leaf flag. The leaf on it doesn't grow within 1,000 kilometers of here. Have at her. Make it as gay as you want.
You know what? When they release that report, that's what I'm going to put. Albertans, it's going to cost $1 trillion to leave. We should stay.
11 trillion.
Also on CTV News, why is the OK Jester considered racist? An Australian video analyst reviewing a FIFA World Cup match is making headlines after he made a gesture associated with white supremacy while on camera. That's it.
I'll tell you what, this is not okay. This is not okay, people. This is not okay. Do you remember one of the mashups?
It's the upside down one. Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Do you remember one of the mashups where we were talking about this because they were trying to say that Polyev or maybe Aaron O'Toole, because it was a while ago, had done this in an interview? And then we found multiple clips and pictures of the Liberals doing the same thing.
All of them doing the same thing. Yes.
And none of that got ever mentioned.
Correct.
For those of you who don't know, folks, this whole thing being white supremacy, it literally, you can find it. It started on 4chan as a prank to say that it was going to be a symbol of white supremacy. And the problem with leftists is that they're stupid.
former MP cabinet minister Navdeep Bains. How am I doing there, Twos? Enters Ontario Liberal leadership race.
I like the fact that you suck at the accent. It means you haven't heard it enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And if you're going, okay, well, whatever, but he worked as a science and industry minister in Justin Trudeau's government before leaving politics in 2021.
Well, that's a really interesting article. I mean, he just decided to
Brilliant.
retire.
Yeah.
He just decided to retire,
Nothing to
according to
see.
CBC.
2021, he just had enough of it.
Yep.
Maybe it was COVID. Maybe he stood up against the mandates in COVID.
No. I mean, they would have mentioned something like that in CBC if there was
You're probably
anything.
right.
If there was anything monumental regarding his departure from from politics, they would have absolutely
Sure.
mentioned it. I mean, they missed the fact that he sat as an independent for the last little bit because he got kicked out of the Liberal Party. I wonder if there's anything more to that. What's the next article, Sean?
Let's go back to 2018. RCMP called to probe tale of two Liberal MPs, a suburban overpass, trip to India, and multi-million-dollar land deal. The Toronto area city of Brampton has asked the RCMP to look at a multi-million-dollar land deal after confidential information on the transaction was passed to local Liberal MPs Navdeep Bains and Raj Guru. Sources confirmed Friday.
So he had a shit ton of gambling debt to some bad people. It was alleged that his chief of staff was tipped off by somebody in the Ontario government about an impending land deal, which he was then able to roll over into somebody else's give somebody else a heads up on it, which allowed them to make $1 million off of a quick flip. And the problem, he got caught. Do you have any idea how badly you have to fuck up in the Liberal caucus to get kicked out? Do you have any, because here's the thing. When you look at the other Randy did not get kicked out.
What was Randy's spirit name?
Flying Eagle Man?
No, it was something feathers, wasn't it?
No, I think it was like Flying Eagle Man.
Was it anybody remember what the other Randy's spirit name was?
But keep in mind that the other Randy did not get kicked out of the Liberal Party.
I know he didn't.
This guy did.
Man, I miss talking about the other Randy. That was a great story. Yes. And this guy did. And
this guy did.
He's entering, I'm going to pull it all the way back, the Liberal leadership race for Ontario.
And
have fun,
CBC
Ontario.
Gives a completely neutral, oh, this guy used to work in government, and now he's trying to get into provincial.
What, Lisa?
Strong
was it
Eagle
Strong
Man. That
Eagle
was
Man?
it.
Strong Eagle Man.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, we got a great audience. Strong
We
Eagle
do.
Man. The other Randy never got booted. This man,
He
Navdeep
did.
Bains, definitely did.
Yeah. So obviously it was racism.
Correct. Kangaroo on the lam in Montreal's South Shore. What?
Yeah. A kangaroo got out of something somewhere in and around Montreal. And so this is a video of Montreal. You can tell because that orange thing in the back, that's obviously a giant piece of cheese. And that overpass in the background, it actually has a little placard on it saying that it was paid with equalization from Alberta. And here is a kangaroo running around on the loose just outside of Montreal in fucking Quebec. There he goes. It could also just be a large rodent because, maybe it's just been in Quebec for so long that it now moves like a frog.
200 potholes filled by volunteers on Highway 63 in Fort Mac.
Yes. Now, I just want to point out how stupid some people are. And just remember for a moment that these people have the same voting rights that you and I do. So, the organizer of a resident initiative to fill potholes on Highway 63 in Fort McMurray says his group filled 200 potholes on Friday. And then this person says, you know what is really sad about this story? Period, not a question mark. It isn't the fact that Fort McMurray residents had to fill potholes because the government has not planned and doesn't care. What's sad is Fort McMurray will still vote for the UCP next election. I haven't seen this many mistakes since I did my taxes. Critter brings up a great point. You need to point out the smart people. There's far less of them and less time consuming. That's fair. Okay, let's go to this. So the Southern Poverty Law Center. We didn't really cover it because I was waiting for some more details on it, and then it kind of went away a little bit for some strange reason. But apparently, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is like the huge sort of anti-racist organization in the States, was paying Ku Klux Klan members and had actually funded. You remember like the Tiki Torch rally?
Yes.
Yeah, they funded that. The people who needed to fight racism had such a hard time finding racism that they needed to go and fund people to be racist so that they had something to rally against. It's just a total, like, it's literally a false flag operation. So now more details are starting to come out. One of the bosses funneled $1.2 million to lover in neo-Nazi group. Pair even had a joint bank account. And so this woman, Heidi Bierich, is believed to be employee 2 in the federal indictment against the bloated anti-hate nonprofit. And she gave her boyfriend, who was a neo-Nazi, $1.2 million.
Yeah.
Yep. So one of the things that Keir Starmer had done when he was trying to force through the online censorship was that they sent out a survey to garner, what level of support they could have. And I know that I say Canadian polls are garbage, but check this out. Would you support it being a legal requirement for social media platforms to have a minimum age lower than 16? If so, what age should it be? Yes, 12 years or younger. Yes, 13. Yes, 14. Yes, 15. No, it should be 16. Don't know, prefer not to say. So you can't actually say, no, I don't support this. There's literally no option on that survey for you to say, this is fucking retarded.
Correct.
Now, I don't know if you guys saw much of this happen lately, but there was a whole lot of people who were really upset after the IPO. We talked about it as it was happening, I guess, last week. But the IPO went through, and Elon is now a trillionaire. And so now you have a whole lot of people being really mad and saying things like, Elon Musk is a trillionaire, but it's definitely the people on Snap ruining your life, trying to just be as obtuse a leftist as possible. And then there was just so many quote tweets that were just gorgeous. Elon Musk is not shoplifting cheese from Tesco. And then there's a picture of the anti-theft things wrapped around blocks of cheese. I have to ring a buzzer to get mouthwash at CVS. Elon Musk has never hiked 3 feet behind me with a Bluetooth speaker clipped to his backpack. I hate having to lock my door at night to stop trillionaires from breaking into my home. These damn billionaires, showing a whole bunch of locked up stuff at stores. I'm not stuck in line behind Elon Musk at Walmart listening to him lose his mind because he can't put Zins on an EBT card. And it goes on and 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 on with all of these people making very valid points about how one guy making $1 trillion, doesn't actually affect them negatively. Everybody's getting all mad because they're treating it as though Elon Musk took money from them. Your money was not up in space. He made his money up in space. How much money did you have tied up in low Earth orbits? I'm going to say none. That's where he made his money. And he didn't take it from your pockets. And the fact that you're mad at him for making money that has nothing to do with you, and you're not mad at politicians who literally, absolutely, definitively take money out of your pockets. In Canada, it's half.
World Cup controversies follows Trudeau to Los Angeles. Former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is facing criticism from some Canadian soccer fans after attending the United States FIFA World Cup opener in Los Angeles instead of Canada's opening match in Toronto.
Yes. And so I get the fact that there's a lot of people who don't like Trudeau that took this opportunity to give him shit about it. But this isn't the battle to fight, guys. Okay? He did this so that he could get laid. Now, are you guys going to look me in the eye and tell me that you have never done or said something ridiculously stupid, silly, or pointless for the same thing? Oh, sure, I'll watch that rom-com.
The Notebook, Tews. The Notebook.
Yeah. If you have ever sat down with a girl and watched The Notebook, you have no room to criticize him for this. Now, having said that, there are a plethora of other things to give the guy shit about.
A bazillion things.
A trillion.
There
are a trillion
things to take on Trudeau. Yes.
Just stick with one of those. It's good. It's easy.
Take the low-hanging fruit. Take it. Carney's Irish grandfather fought off mob of 50 armed men as young police recruit during Civil War.
Oh, this isn't propagandist at all. I
Mark
mean,
Carney's grandfather, Robert, was one of the first recruits in Ireland's newly formed police force, and in 1923 fought off a mob of 50 armed men attacking a police station with only 3 other officers. New research into the Prime Minister's Irish family history is found. So let me get this straight. We can go back over 100 years and find this story.
Mhm.
I'm talking to mainstream media right now.
Mhm.
But we can't pull our collective head out of our asses to just go in the last 10 years and see some of the things he's done, maybe uncover all the things of BlackRock and everything else. Are we kidding me?
That's your big takeaway from this?
That is my big takeaway from this.
Okay,
I'm like,
here's
who
the thing.
cares? Who cares?
Let's read this headline again. Carney's Irish grandfather fought off mob of 50 armed men. Okay?
Okay.
And then you actually get into it, and it's him and other people who fought off a mob of 50 armed men from inside of a building. Okay?
Sure.
But this is pure
Tews
propaganda.
Tews is going to dissect it from that and the propaganda. I'd look at it from a journalist standpoint.
We just had
Somehow
an
we're digging up
article-
100 years.
We just had an
100 years.
article where some kid was just happy to shake his hand, and they wrote a whole
Yes, I
fucking
realize.
article about this.
This is
and
my
then now
point.
his grandfather fought off a mob of 50. Like, he would make
We need a
outrageous
better
claims.
class of journalist in Canada.
He would make outrageous claims like he invented the question mark. When I was insolent, I was placed in a burlap bag and beaten with reeds.
Get on to the sports desk. I'm already over this stupid Carney. His father was Achilles and fought off anyways, it doesn't matter.
Well, what do you want to know about the sports desk, Sean?
I don't know. What do you got for me, Tews?
Did
I
you-
want to see. Actually, you know what? I want to see the race. Show them the race. I want to try this. I think we should find out where this is going to be. Then get Zane to make us a beater of a vehicle so that we could go try this and go in the race. Show them the video.
You don't really have to make a beater. You can,
Well, you know what I mean. Just
Yeah.
anyway, show them the video.
So I guess the whole point is that there's this truck hauling a flatbed trailer with the ramp out, and all of these vehicles are racing around trying to. You win when you get on the ramp.
He's on, he's off. I don't think that counts. Swing and a miss. Oh my goodness. Oh! Officially nobody. Oh, 9 could have it.
Yeah, except for the other guy just pushes him right off.
The rear-wheel drive truck gonna take a swing. Oh, the truck could have it. We might have a winner. Great.
The whole point of this sport is to just do laps in a
That is a
demolition derby
great
style
sport.
thing.
Would you not
And-
pay to go watch that?
Oh, absolutely. Why do you think it's on the Mashup show?
I know. I'm watching. I'm like, I want to try. Like, this looks fun. This looks like I could do this. Wouldn't you try that?
I would try it. I don't know if I could do it very well, but I would definitely try the shit out of it.
Couldn't do any worse than half those vehicles. I mean, like, honestly,
I
you're the
like
first
the
guy to
one
try
part-
and ramp up there. You just dram them right off of the thing.
Well, that was kind of my favorite part of the video, was where the one vehicle was like just about up there and the other one comes in and just knocks him right off the side.
The German bread cutting.
Well, here's the thing. So we've established this before, but Twos loves obscure sports and things like that. And this is a German.
Good bread cutting morning, everybody, and welcome to the 119th episode of the German bread cutter. Let's see how accurate we can slice today. Yesterday I tried a speed cut and it didn't work out at all. So today I'm careful again and hope for the best. Let's check the numbers.
He's literally got a caliper. He's calipering all around the circumference of the bread to see how parallel he managed to make the two cuts.
We have 10.2, a 9.6, a 9.5, and a 8.7. Why? Let's check the bread sheet. We have 1.49 millimeter maximum deviation, and our 28 days cutting performance chart is going up again. So maybe the next days we finally can beat the bread cutting machine.
That's it. There's another video. I
that's
put up the
great,
wrong
though.
one. There's one where he got it perfect all the way around. Where the hell is it? I don't even know.
Twos is going to be upset with himself. He actually has perfect all the way around.
Yeah. And he's just like, oh, and it's this much over here. And it's this much over. And he's getting more excited as the numbers keep matching all the way around.
Well, you got to find it. You can't do it. I mean, your impersonation of it's pretty good. Can't you just German bread cutting perfection and get the video? Like, I mean, is it this? It can't be this hard.
Okay, here it is.
Episode of the German bread cutter. Let's see how accurate we can slice today. I'm really excited for today because I slept pretty good and my arms feel pretty good too. But we have to wait for the numbers to see how accurate this slice will be. We have 11.4, 11.4, 11.4. No way. 11.37. That's not only an accurate cut, that's a golden slice. 0.09 millimeter deviation. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. We really did it. Wow. What do you think? Rate it in the comments. See you.
All right. Now, I get the fact that I may be just
I like-
a stereotypical German. Who
I
just
liked
really
your
loves this stuff.
you should have reenacted it. I liked your reenactment better. You set the bar too high.
Fine. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again.
I was Narcaned and a yes.
Yeah, no, read it all out, Sean.
I got Narcaned at the Rogers place.
Narcan at Rogers Place.
In fairness, any major city in Canada right now, pretty much you could make that hat. So, yeah. This one, on the
how
other
about
hand,
this one though.
yes, the Oilers are committed to winning at all costs. Bill Cosby in an Oilers hat behind the bench.
Yes. Now, what is that in reference to?
Mike Babcock. Mike Babcock.
I don't think you can say that word on the show, Sean.
Mike Babcock.
Anyways, apparently the Oilers signed Mike Babcock, who was cleared of all of the crazy things he was accused of. Almost like just memory wiped clean. Not unlike what Bill Cosby does. So, I mean, here's the thing. You got the Narcan, you got Mike Babcock. Honestly, this is probably going to be like a top 20, maybe even top 30 building year for the Edmonton Coilers.
No more Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this, but
Let me
CBC
ask you.
sucks. Yep.
Yeah, like I have lots of favorite memories from when Hockey Night in Canada used to be on Saturday night, right?
Mhm.
Those days are long behind us.
Oh,
Like,
long behind us.
us.
Like I was like yay big, and my parents had a small TV in their room, and they would let me go in there, and there was like 2 shows that I loved watching. And one of them was Hockey Night in Canada, like as far as like going into their room and watching. One of them I would watch Hockey Night in Canada, and the other one was it Fastball? That show that I found out like years later Joe Rogan was like one of the headliners in.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
know what
Joe
you're talking
Rogan did
about.
a baseball TV show, and I loved watching that show as a kid. And then I remember being super mad because I couldn't understand why it wasn't on anymore. It's because it sucked and it got canceled. But
But Twos liked it.
I really liked that show. And those were like my 2 shows that I would get my parents to let me go into their room to watch.
Well, I mean, it's not like hockey, Hockey Night in Canada is still going to be on Sportsnet, right? Like I feel like most people are watching on Sportsnet. I don't know, whatever.
Well, everybody's just moved past.
Yeah, well, I mean, after Don Cherry got let go, it put a huge blemish on it, right? And it was funny in the last few years of Don Cherry, nobody really tuned into it anyways because Don was getting old, and everybody they should have just so many things they should adjust. But regardless, it's the end of an era, but the end of the era started a long time ago. Rod the Bod, the Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup, and of course the video of Rod the Bod.
How old is he now?
I don't know, 50 something, I would think.
50 something on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe. What a unit.
What a unit is right. Rod the Bod, congrats to the Carolina Hurricanes. I know they turn it into the mashup for sure, Twos. So congrats to them.
Yep.
What else we got today?
Well, here's one I almost forgot.
Okay.
So I was kind of rushed a little bit this morning, and this is one that just came up. Schizophrenic woman who fatally stabbed newlywed in Toronto drugstore is shockingly released because she no longer poses a threat. And so this is so Ontario Review Board granted Rohini Bisasar, now 51, an absolute discharge on June 3rd after stating she no longer poses a threat to public safety and committed to doing everything possible she could to get better. This woman in this picture stabbed a random stranger in broad daylight. Hot? Crazy. Like she's just in the top right.
You want the girl to be above this line.
And so she's been let go. She's been unconditionally released. And it was 11 years ago that she just stabbed a random stranger and murdered her in the street.
All right.
So I don't think it was just the conventional, you're in jail for this amount of time. It was, you're too fucking crazy for us to let you out. And luckily, she did it before the Liberals took over, because if she'd have done it afterwards, she'd have probably been made a minister of some fucking thing.
I want to give a shout out this week to, here, I'm going to pull it up. Listener of the show, Zane Southgate. Him and his dad are on their way to Lloydminster with somebody was asking earlier on. I forget if it was you, Murray. Forgive me. I should scroll up. But regardless, asking about when do we get on the road trip. We're 2+ weeks away, and Zeebs is Zane and his dad are building a Suburban to take the camper across North America, and so they have
built it. They're on their way to deliver it now.
They're on their way to deliver it right now. So that's Zeeb's Performance Restorations out of Chestermere. So if you got vehicles that need some work, Zane would be the guy to reach out to. You can find him at zeebs.ca. Of course, they also do Battle of the Text twos.
Yes.
And yeah, Zeebs is top. Zane is top notch. So is his dad, Brian. And yeah, there you go. You can see all their handiwork of restoring old cars,
they've
right?
done
Or everything in between.
they've done a bunch. They're pretty ubiquitous around the Rocky View County area. Very well known for extreme attention to detail and high quality. So if you
It's
guys are
funny.
listening, yeah.
So Zane's showing me this Suburban. I go out there. This is like a month ago, and he's showing it. He's got it all lifted up, and he's just explaining everything.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I'm sitting there, and the look on my face is like, I don't know a single word you're saying, Zane. And so at one point, I finally go, Zane, it sounds great, but I honestly, I'm not even sure I understood anything out of the last 10 minutes.
Mhm.
You're telling me everything you're doing. I'm like, I need my buddy Colby, heavy duty mechanic. I need twos over here so they could just drool while Zane's talking, because I'm sitting there going, is he gonna run? And he's like, what? Yeah, it's gonna run. What do you don't understand the words coming out of my mouth? I'm like, nobody understands the words coming out of your mouth, especially this guy. But shout out to Zane and his dad, Brian. Yes, they are bringing it here today. And I got to hear it.
Good old Saskatchewan boys.
Yeah. So that's what I got on this end. Anything else before we get out
Yeah.
of here, too?
Yeah, we got happy news.
Happy
Sweden
news.
passes good behavior law to kick out
Ooh,
misbehaving
yes.
immigrants.
I
Sweden's
think
parliament
Canada Alberta needs a good behavior law.
At this point, I'd even take a tolerable behavior law.
Yeah, Sweden's parliament passed a law on Monday allowing authorities to revoke immigrants' residency permits based on bad behavior, such as having unpaid debts, doing undeclared work, or links to extremist organizations.
Yeah. Now you throw in something about crime in there, and now we're talking.
Yeah.
And then maybe if something like that happens, they won't be throwing rocks through the windows of our establishments in this country at 3:39 in the fucking morning.
I did have a text coming in. Give me a sec here. Let's take a look, because I think we got a community notes.
Yeah, we got community notes.
I got one here. The Summer Sock Hop in Grand Prairie, age 16 plus, June 20th. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's on Township Road 722, Grand Prairie. Dress up. Oh, dresses and button-ups encourage $10 a person. That's the United Conservative Youth Committee putting that on. So there you go. Summer Sock Hop in Grand Prairie.
Right. Articulate.ventures/IBC, which is interest-based communication, Vance Crow. The next one is July 6th through 8th. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They also have one coming up in September and one coming up in October.
July 5th, folks, we leave for the trip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's for those who care where the show is going to be and who we're going to be sitting down with and all that good stuff. That's coming up right away. I don't know. Anything else, Tues? Mashup 213. Whew.
That's basically it. The tee off for Little Hearts is today, so you guys have fun with that.
We got, did you say this?
Wainwright Stampede now, parade tomorrow, 10 a.m. I didn't say that. Squirrel Nuts did. But actually, that brings up a really important point. I had a bullet point about it, but not an article. The Sundry, and by that I mean I, talked about the Sundry Rodeo Parade being not allowing the Alberta flag float. And then got breaking news as it was live. Somebody corrected me that the float had been allowed and it was back on. And then a couple days later, the rodeo parade was canceled. And now, as of yesterday, the rodeo parade is not going forward, but there is going to be some kind of unofficial, non-political, just Alberta patriotism and blue flag parade going around. They're meeting up in Olds and then driving into Sundry, going across town, and then doing what would have been the parade route.
I meant to, sorry,
released a statement that was a very long worded bullshit, Buddha on a biscuit, fuck right off, say nothing statement that did in no way acknowledge the fact that they fucked up and said that it was all being canceled because everybody was being mean.
I should have brought up in the Coots 6.5. I don't know where to fit it in, but in Marwayne, they had someone going around impersonating AGCO trying to get in your house. So,
Yeah.
that's
No description. Medium complexion. Complexion, and the goat turned off the comments.
so yeah. At the end of the day, somebody's trying to get in your house, folks. Make sure that you.
Yeah, double check them. And
That's right.
if you ask for ID and they just call you a bloody bastard guy, it's probably just as well that you don't open the door.
Mashup 213 in the books. Thanks for tuning in, folks. As you all know, we're here every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we'll catch up to you next week. Twos, any final thoughts other than a yawn? A yawn at the end of this? You've been sleeping
Dude,
on the
I've been up
couch? Hey?
We got a boarded up window, so there isn't a whole lot of security there. But I'm there, and it would be a damn shame if anybody tried to break in.
And Kevin says we need a map with a red line going on it like Indiana Jones. Yes,
No,
Kevin.
no, we don't. We need a map with a red line going on it like Hot Shots.
Oh, I got to go back and watch Hot Shots now. I know what he's talking about with Indiana Jones. Oh, well. I'll take your word for it, Twos. Mashup 213 in the books. Folks, thanks for hopping in. And
Thanks
catch
very
up
much,
to you
ladies
next.
and gents.
Yes, we'll catch up to you next week.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
I just want to point out, Twos can never seem to find the music, which is funny. That's why I'm here, folks, just to make sure it goes smoothly. That's all.
Okay, all right. Two final things. I missed a couple names. Also, Thomas looks at ducks and Thomas licking sacks.
Mashup 213 in the books. Thanks, folks.